Calm down, calm down. It ain't what you think it is. Take a look around. Oh man, I'll tell you what. This whole thing I watched play out. I knew what everybody was gonna say, and a lot of developments has happened. A lot of people want to blame Doc Rivers for what's going on, but this was a plan of the Clippers all along, and their plan was to try to work out a way they could have some room to deal with Blake Griffin. But here's the thing: they saw Blake keeps getting hurt, and when you have a tug of war of what you want to do and what's going on in the scenario and the developments, a change of course was happening. They wanted to ride this thing out with Blake, but they were like, it's not going to work out. We got to rebuild this team and we got to fully commit to rebuilding it. So, in the past couple of weeks, LeBron James is kind of having second thoughts about going to the Lakers, meaning that the way things are developing now and seeing how recent developments, how the team looked, and he wants an outlook on basically what the future is going to hold for the Los Angeles Lakers. Because his whole thing of going to the Lakers was that Paul George was going to be there next year. That was one of the continuancies that he needed to go. Now it's looking like Paul George is like, I might just stay in OKC because he has an option. Do he want to opt out or do he want to stay in his deal that he has right now? So he has an option after this year to stay with OKC or he could leave and go elsewhere. Now, it all depends on what's happening, but right now, the people are very happy with Paul George, more than Carmelo Anthony. So, who's become like the designated third option, and Melo's cool with it. And now that the team is riding a wave where they're starting, people like, oh, they're coming together, they're gelling. They're still the same old OKC, and when the playoffs start, they'll get to the second round, the third round, and once they play a real team, they're gone. So, that's basically just the gist of it, and they'll end up playing a Houston or a San Antonio Spurs, and that's gonna break up itself, and then you'll see what happens to them. Now, breaking into this LeBron James situation that I keep telling you, he's going to LA. He's not going to Houston. He's not going to all these other teams, Philly. You think his wife is gonna move to Philly? No. He's not going to no doggone Philly. They're going to Los Angeles. They just built a 21 million, actually $23 million mansion out there. What they didn't mention is that his agents have new homes out there as well. See, they left that part out because they don't matter. They just got new places out in LA, close to LeBron. So when they left that out, they'll let you know he's going to Los Angeles. Why would they relocate all these homes to California? Meanwhile, they they going to Houston? No. They just want to be in continue, have some type of plan in place. And people's like, well, Doc Rivers, LeBron can't play with Doc. Who's to say Doc's gonna be there next year? Well, what would the Clippers have? Who would they be bringing over there? They could bring back a lot of people. If Chris Paul don't come and play with LeBron and come back to the Clippers, then that's even greater. No Chris Paul, he don't need Chris Paul. But there's a couple of players that Jerry West could put on that team and put around LeBron James. Kyle Korver is going to come with LeBron because Korver is out after this year. Al Korver can move. I mean, it's a lot of things that could happen. Right now, Jerry West has always been the favorable GM. Everybody knows that he helped Kobe Bryant become a Los Angeles Laker when he was playing with, I mean, he was a GM of another team that drafted Kobe Bryant. And he drafted him just so that they could trade him to Los Angeles because the Lakers didn't have a pick. Now, his responsibility should have been what was best for the team. They ended up with Vlade Divac for Kobe Bryant. Do you think that wasn't a setup? When Jerry West, the logo, was the one that scouted Kobe Bryant and told the Lakers, this is the best workout I've ever seen in my life. The Celtics were supposed to draft Kobe Bryant. He smoked their workout. But they chose to go with Antoine Walker. Now, here's another situation that people are not looking at. He's going to trade DeAndre Jordan and Lou Williams while they still have value. And who are they going to trade them for? Cavs players that'll be there when LeBron gets there. So the deal that's on the table, Tristan Thompson going in a deal with Jay Crowder, and it was supposed to have been Jose Calderon, but a lot of people think it's going to be Derrick Rose to finish out the year. Derrick Rose's name was thrown up in conversation just this past week. People are telling me, don't be surprised if Derrick Rose gets moved from the Cleveland Cavaliers because the Cavs want to keep their pick, but the general manager doesn't want to move the pick. So LeBron's been using his power to have to leak stuff out to try to put pressure on the general manager to make a move. Hence last year, we're too top heavy. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man, but at this rate, I don't think we're gonna make no moves. LeBron normally does this stuff and does this behavior every January because he knows the writing's on the wall. He needs to get to the finals. He's an attention whore, so this is exactly what he does. Everything that has nothing to do with him, he wants to be involved in. Other teams, oh, happy birthday to my boy Greg Popovich. Look, dude, you don't play with him. He's the greatest coach ever. It's like, dude, what is you talking about? Like, you was on the dream team one, and I was a coach there, like an assistant coach there. That was just for an Olympic summer. Like, I never coached you in the NBA. What is you talking about? Greatest coach in the world. You never played for me. It's retarded. It's like, come on. It's like, my goodness. Like, I know how great I am. I don't need you to tell me. Hey, but he's going to San Antonio. Like, please. To be coached? No way. Because Pop ain't going nowhere. Watch this guy dominate the ball all game long? No way. Who would want that? I know I don't want to see it. And here's the thing that's like the biggest kicker of all, which I don't understand, is how y'all keep saying this guy's the best in the world. Yet he's got to have all this help. I've never seen it before. Oh man, they got to get LeBron a center. They got to get LeBron this guy. Man, he got to get all these good players on this. If he gets all the good players on the team, what makes him great? Please answer this question. What makes him so great if he needs other great players around him? He needs all these great players in order for him to win. That's what makes him great. Well, Magic, man, he had all those guys with him. What would Magic have been? Magic, those guys were there basically when Magic was there. Magic won with two different groups. He won in the Kareem era. He had the big man. But you got to realize Kareem wasn't Kareem no more. And they was still had to worry about Magic. Magic can hit the big shot to win the game. They drafted James Worth, Byron Scott, Michael Cooper. You know, I mean, you got to look at that. Jamal Wilkes. He won with a whole new group that got shifted out. They brought in a whole nother group. A lot of y'all are too young to understand or remember something like that. They lost one group, came back with a whole nother group. When all those guys were retired and moved on, they kept it moving. LeBron never did that. See, Michael Jordan eventually kept plowing away until he won with what he had. The Bulls never went and got anybody for Michael Jordan. In 95, he won 3 NBA championships and retired with what he had basically for the past 4 or 5 years. LeBron wants to go out and control the narrative and change the rules of the game. This is why people don't like him. They don't respect him. He's having too much control behind the scenes, trying to pick and poach players from other teams to all put him on his team. And then you idiots out here keep talking about he's the greatest and he's the king. Why? That's not competing. If I want to go out there on a basketball court and play a 5 and be like, no, I don't want to play with you. I want to play with him, and him. Yeah. Now, and then I'm sitting up there talking about I'm the greatest. What's great about me? All this guy's doing is playing GM. Look, man, y'all gotta open y'all eyes. I'm sitting in here, straightening up my house, doing all kind of stuff while I'm talking to y'all. But y'all gotta wake up, man. This guy ain't worth the paper he's printed on. And now they trying to get DeAndre Jordan, and they mad because they blew it. And he's mad because he was supposed to have Paul George. He didn't want this Isaiah Thomas problem. But when they got Isaiah Thomas, he was like, okay, we got IT. That should work out. He puts up a lot of shots and a lot of points. Like he was just going to bounce up and be Isaiah Thomas. But Isaiah Thomas is very opinionated, and he's very open and out front. The Cavs got very upset with Isaiah Thomas, not because of the gameplay or how he's playing. It's because the Cavs normally have a filter on what they say to the media and the press. People know this is what we say, this is what we don't say. Isaiah Thomas was briefed from their PA, personal assistant, the guy who's in there for the Cavs. He go in there and say, okay, hey, this is what we're saying about this and that and this. And they say, okay, and they go out and they follow the script. And they don't give them anything. Like the time when Tristan Thompson blew up and on the court with LeBron. They talked to him before they talked to the press. So when he came to the press, he wasn't going to give you nothing to really continue it on. It's like, we took care of their house, blah, 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 blah. So that way they put out a fire quick. Now, you look at the other scenarios that was presented on the table. You have you look at the other scenarios that's presented on the table. You had other other developments that happened. You had Isaiah going out and saying things that I told you about that nobody seemed to remember, but I always told you the Cavs don't practice. Nobody remembers that. But go back to my archive, go to my playlist, Carcino on the NBA, and get caught up. I told you all the time the Cavs don't practice. Because LeBron he practice at home. They don't practice as a team. He never does that. He only practices at his gym at home. And he does his little exercises. He come in there and they just do shoot arounds. And Isaiah keep hindering because he's never played in a dysfunctional system before. And if you play with LeBron, that's what it is. It's a dysfunctional system. So he goes out coming from a real coach where they really practice, where the coach is actually on the court teaching you, to this. And it's like, oh, hell no. How am I supposed to get in game shape? Like, this is my preseason. We don't practice. Duh. So for the past 2 weeks to shut Isaiah Thomas up because he kept bringing it up. The first time he brought it up, they had a talk with him. He brought it up again in another interview, and it pissed them off. So they said, you know what? In the meeting they had, it was brought up again. You know, he was like, look, man, I need practice. We all need to practice, man. How are we supposed to get better and just figure it out on the court? That don't even make sense. That's why we have practice. Well, we can't all practice all the time. The schedule don't allow us to practice all the time. He's like, well, when does it allow us to practice? And it's the truth. When does it allow us to practice? Why do we have all these gaps in days for if we're not going to practice? We already here shooting around. Why aren't we practicing? We should be working on stuff together. So for the past 2 weeks, the Cavs have been practicing. Well, like a week and a half. They have been practicing. They've been scheduling practice, and they've been having practice. They did it to shut Isaiah Thomas up. Like, okay, we're going to have practice. Now you better get better. It's like basically that's what they're doing. But you know what? They actually flow a lot better now because they're kind of used to the sets of what they're doing. Defensively, they still suck in transition because they're basically old. But they look a little better. Why? Because they've been practicing. So, as you can see, basketball makes sense. Everybody wants to be Golden State, but they don't want to do what it takes to be Golden State. Gosh, how do y'all root for this bum? I mean, really, it blows my mind that people root for him. Like, what are you thinking? What goes through your mind when you root for a player like that? LeBron James. That's what blows me away. I'm really confused with all of the things that he do. How he's ruined the game of basketball. How in the world can you see this guy and think he's entertainment? Have you watched a game he's played? Nothing he does is entertaining. The way he plays basketball it's like watching kids on a basketball court play. He is, oh my God, he is the most overinflated basketball player I have seen in my life. It is so mind-boggling how anybody could root for this player. It really is. I'm like, this would be a role player in any other generation of basketball. There's no way he would even be considered in a top 5, top 50 conversation. Him? No way. If they had to change every rule in this league to make him successful. He owes the NBA everything. I'm out.